Welcome back, my lovely Sims. And today we'll be reading a Bakugou Katsuki ex-listener fanfiction. It's written by Slip Quiz IQ on Wattpad. I'll leave in the link in the description below. Remember to support them. The name of this fanfiction is Period. No further ado, let's begin. Wang groaned as her phone began to ring once again. This had to be the 5th time or so, deciding it was time to at least look who was calling. She rolled over lazily, letting her hand find her phone, picking it up once finding it. Squinting her eyes, she read the name. Katsuki. Knowing better than to ignore her boyfriend, she picked up the call. It being a FaceTime call. "Wake up, dumbass! How many times does it take you to pick up your phone?" Bakugou yelled, his face only partly showing on the screen, but it was indeed showing his anger. "How late did you stay up last night?" "I don't know, maybe 2? Wyan mumbled, rubbing her eyes in an attempt to wake up somewhere. Bakugou continued to yell curses at Wyan. In private, he was definitely a bit softer with Wyan, but he most definitely was not a dream boy from high school romance movies, where they kissed in the first 5 episodes. The ash blonde was far from it, quite frankly. Wyan yawned as Bakugou finally paused his yelling. "I'll be down in a bit, I guess." Katsuki glared at the screen he was looking through. "I bet you will." Then he hung up. Wyan sighed, throwing the warm covers off her body, letting the coldness of her room bring chills to her skin. As she stood up, sharp pain engulfed her atoms, causing her to wince slightly. It wasn't a type of pain that built up, it just appeared out of nowhere, like a shot. A groan escaped her mouth, knowing exactly what type of pain it was. It was cramps. Today of all days. A Monday. Out of any day, it had to be a Monday. Not only did this have to be happening on a Monday, she didn't even start yet. The cramps were just the beginning. If only this happened while she was sleeping. Wyan wouldn't be in nearly as much pain as she was now. Nonetheless, she had done this many times before. The situation was anything but new. Wyan made her way to the bathroom, doing her business while also putting in a tampon or pad. You decide what. Quickly doing her business, she went back into her room, heading to the area in the corner of her room that had a drawer next to it. Inside the drawer were extra pads, tampons, new packs of underwear, 2 extra pairs of pants, and shorts along with 2 more skin skirts in case something goes wrong. A lot of medicine to help with the pain, multiple heating pads, and a lot of candy. Seriously, a lot of candy. When it came to periods, all the girls knew who to go for to help if needed. Wyan was the plug when it came to the pains of period products, especially Raraka, who hadn't enough money for products of her own, wanted to save up for her parents. She spent more money on native products than she did on food, probably because women and girls products are unnecessarily expensive for some reason, but that's not the point. Wyan dug into the drawer, grabbing a content of what she was hoping would be a full with medicine to help the pain. Unfortunately, it seems Suyu had used all of them up when she was on her cycle. Apparently, the pain increased for people who have quirks related to animals in any way. When the rest of the girls found this out, Suyu was treated like a queen for a week. Poor girl didn't do anything to hurt so badly. Well, no girls did. But here we are, granted the ability to bleed each month. It's fun. Sarcasm. I'm being sarcastic. It sucks. Wyan checked through each pill bottle, each one empty. A groan escaped Wyan's lips as she shut the drawer. A sigh left her mouth as the cramps continued through her body, her autumn feeling like Bakugou was just exploding the hell out of it. Why went through this all the time as a kid? She sucked at opening up, even about basic things, so she never worked up the courage to ask her mom for pain relievers. No one in hell she would ask her dad for them. Preferably she wouldn't talk to either parents if she could, just get away from them. But that's off topic. As quickly as she could, she brushed her teeth, got change and grabbed her bag. Did what she usually did with her hair, which was usually nothing. Then she darted out of her room down to meet Katsuki. Fucking finally, Bakugou said as Ryan approached him in the common room area, where nobody was. Ryan smiled sheepishly. Sorry, I got a little. She was cut off by another sharp pain in her abdomen. The pain was always there, but there were always those waves of more painful pains. Bakugou cocked an eyebrow. What the hell is wrong with you? Well, I'm a girl. Girls go through this every month. One said, being a little sassy. Katsuki immediately knew what Ryan was talking about. Thought you had medicine for cramps. I did, but see you needed it all. Ryan said as the sharp pain slowly eased itself out. The background pain was still stabbing her abdomen. Bakugou nodded. After school, I guess I can get you some, or in lunch, I guess. He mumbled, avoiding eye contact with the slightly red cheeks. Ryan couldn't help but smile, knowing it was best not to tease him. She nodded. I would love that. Here, she said, reaching into her book bag, where she kept a small stash of backup cash. I can give you money for it since everything is so expensive. Put that shit away, I can pay for it myself. Bakugou said, showing Ryan's hand away as the two began to walk to school. Ryan shoved her hand back towards Katsuki. No, take the money. No. Yes. 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 Yes. No. Fine, I won't take it. Bakugou said with a smug grin. Ryan looked confused for a moment before realizing what happened. Touché, Ryan said, putting the money back in the book bag. The two made it to school, a few students still roaming around before class. The idiots of the school skipping for some reason. Come here, Bakugou said when he saw Ryan's face twist in pain, trying to hide it. He grabbed Ryan's forearm and led her a little away from everybody else, but not far enough to where nobody could see them. Katsuki lifted his hands away from his clothes and let out many small explosions, causing his hand to warm up quickly. Warm enough to the point of steam slightly radiating from his skin. Bakugou's face was red as he hurried to put his hands on Ryan's back and yanked her into his chest to hide his embarrassed expression. Ryan was confused at first until the pain in her abdomen began to decrease from the heat from Bakugou's hands. She relaxed into Bakugou's touch, a large portion of her weight leaning against him now. Katsuki relaxed a bit himself, leaning against the trunk of a tree they were next to. The weight of his girlfriend leaning against him, her being calm and relaxed, made him feel calmer than he had in a little while. Not once has he gotten an opportunity to truly relax, and time he is able to be with Ryan. She is in the common room where everybody else is. At nighttime, he's either shaken up by nightmares or fear of the leak of illness taking him again. The bell inside the school rang, the sounds seeping through the open windows of the halls. Bakugou pushing himself off the tree, letting his hands fall from Ryan's back. Where are you going? Give me your hands, Ryan said, looking up at Bakugou as the pain began to return. We have to go to class. We're already late, Bakugou said. grabbing Ryan's forearm again as he led her into the school. In their classroom, constant complaints from Ryan on the way there. Bakugou did want to stay where they were forever, and he wanted to help Ryan the best he could, but he wasn't about to risk suspension. He worked too hard for that. Katsuki slammed open the door, the glare he always wore back on his features, the class jumping at the loud sound. Aizawa turned to the door, surprisingly not in his sleeping bag. "Why are you too late?" Kanari grinned, giggling a proud giggle. "He totally just hit," he whispered. Not a very good whisper. "Kaminari," Aizawa said, looking at the students he called out and who had frozen up, a smile still on his face, despite his fear. "Shut up." Mina slapped her hand over her mouth, trying to hold in her own laugh. Everyone had to contain their giggles, minus the static ones like Todoroki, Choji, Tokiyami. Bakugou glared at everyone in the classroom. "We weren't doing that. This fucker just woke up," he yelled, stomping to his seat. Ryan nodded. "Yeah, I did," she admitted, and made her way to her seat, as well as Aizawa shook his head, continuing with what he's originally talking about. "Anyway, today is a fairly easy day, if you have been doing well for the past year. Each of you will participate in a 15-mile run." "What? 15 miles? That's crazy. What happened to you and your rational things? You better be running with us then." "I'm perfectly fine with this, actually. Watch all the girls' boobs. Fucking pervert! Shut the hell up." Bakugou yelled, moving at the speed of sound to Minetta's desk, punching her in the side of the head. Mama looked at Minetta, who was now on the ground, a glare her natural, beautiful features. "You should consider yourself lucky. I was about to hit you myself," she threatened. Mama could pack quite the punch. Her arms do look decently skinny, but it's a wonder the girl doesn't have a muscle boost quirk. Aizawa was a teacher, as well as a pro hero, yes. But when things like this happened with Minetta, he just pretended he didn't see anything. It's not like Aizawa supported child abuse or abuse at all. But even when he won't be running, no, you guys have to learn that missions may take longer than a week, 2 months. Hell, even years. Running on end may not be a choice. Ida's hand shot in the air. "May we be allowed to use our quirks?" "Yes, for the most part. Keep in mind, using your quirks too much will cause you to tire out easily. I'll be wary. Go change." Asama informed his students, who then got up sadly and went to the locker's room. Bakugou was walking towards Ryan as everybody filled out the room slowly. "Do you need to talk to Aizawa-sensei?" he asked, his voice quiet. He knew better than to let the whole class know Ryan was on her period. Ryan shook her head, her fingers fiddling with the others. "No." "Do I need to tell him? He's not a moron, he'll understand." Katsuki said, making a good point. Ryan sighed. "I don't know, it seems petty." "It won't be petty. I can tell you're still cramping. It's not only gonna hurt more if you run while cramping." Bakugou said, it now being the only 2 of you in the hall. Aizawa inside the classroom watching Ryan and Bakugou closely. "Is there an issue?" Aizawa asked, his voice louder than usual. "Correct me if I'm wrong, but I said to go get changed, not stand around, talk lovey-dovey with your partner." "You think that we mainly take the time out of our training to talk lovey-dovey?" Ryan said, looking at Aizawa as she made a quotation around the word lovey-dovey. Bakugo's face wavered a little. It is slightly weary. There's slightly a bit relaxed when it's fine. It's really not fine. Defying teacher's orders, then going as far as talking back. Not really a good way to speak to superiors. As I was said, now leaning against the classroom doorway. Wine crossed her arms, the pain in her stomach reaching its height at this point. You mean, not really a good way to speak to your elders? She mocked. Aizawa's face fell, his eyebrows furrowed in anger. Bakugou had to refrain from laughing, not want to get in trouble with an old man that he found scary, so he picked wine up. Okay, he said, his voice quieter. He was sure to avoid her stomach, and he carried her to the girls' locker room. No, it wasn't some sort of romantic hold either. Not the sweet carry that some people do at the weddings. No, it was quite far from it, actually. Oi, raccoon eyes. Make sure none of you are in the view of the door, and you better be dressed too. Come take wine for a minute. Bakugou yelled, banging on the door. The girls inside rushed to one of the corners of the room, Momo creating a large blanket to cover all of them. Luckily, Mina was fast to change her and was already in her gym clothes, and opened the door. What's going on? She asked, pulling Ryan inside the locker room. That time of the month was all Bakugou said before he shut the door himself and made his way back to Aizawa, who still had a glare on his face. Listen, Bakugou sighed. Stopping in front of Aizawa, the ash blonde looked up and down the hall, making sure nobody who didn't need to know was around. When she's on her period. Aizawa's face almost immediately relaxed. He's been a teacher for years. He's been pro for years. He was in school for years. All of his life, he was around women or a girl. It was not misogynistic. He understands that period hurts. It's not like that hard to grasp. Oh, I get it. I'm assuming she didn't want me to bring it up and asked to do something other than running. Bakugou avoided eye contact. Yeah, I don't think she wants me to tell you either. But meh, I don't care. Aizawa nodded, now putting his hands in his pockets. That's fine. Just tell her midnight and Mike will be meeting her outside for quirk training. They'll supervise her until the rest of class is done. Then she'll come back with us. Katsuki nodded, now going to the boys' locker room. Got it. Just as Bakugou opened the door, he was met with Midoriya, who was about to leave. Midoriya jumped back quickly. Oh, hey there, Kachan! He screeched in fear, Bakugou glaring at Midoriya, stomping past him. Getting to his locker, Bakugou began to change and do what he does. He hadn't gotten his gym pants on, his shirt being the only thing minus his shoes that were missing before he got a text from Marianne that read, "Please tell me I'm not suspended." Bakugou rolled his eyes, typing back a quick no. He proceeded to tell his girlfriend that all Aizawa told him. Wine still in the girls' locker room with the rest of the girls, sighing in relief, typing back, "Thank you, Katsuki. I guess you could say I owe you one, haha." Bakugou. Oh, fucking course you do. Just hurry up and get changed. I don't want that scar freak to attack me for your own goddamn absence. You should talk nicer to your girlfriend, Kachan. First of all, get the fuck away from me and stop looking at my damn phone. Second of all, I told him not to call me that you dunce. Bakugou yelled, showing Kaminari away only for you both to be stopped by Kishima, who was behind them. Both of you, mind your own fucking business. Training, running, went by fairly quickly. Everybody, like any sane person, was breathing heavily from all the running, except Wayne, who was breathing heavily from her work. "How come you got to do something else?" Ayama asked, through heaves of breathing, as the class ventured back to the separate locker rooms. "It's nothing, well, I can't tell you," she said, whispering in Ayama's ear. What her poor self had to endure. Ayama looked at YN with sorrow. "Let me guess, you ran out of your own pain meds, giving them to the other girls, didn't you?" YN nodded, sadness evident on her own features. Ayama thought for a moment. "Get the rocket to heat you up in your admin." "I already thought of that," YN said, her voice seeming strained with pain. "Bakugou would never let it happen." "Then just get Bakugou to do it." Ayama sparkled. YN seemed to float at the thought of the feeling like she did before her and Katsuki walked into the school this morning. "He did that for me this morning. I was on cloud 9. Ayama smiled at the now happy attitude. YN and Ayama had been pals since elementary school, therefore both of them had seen each other through their ups and downs. It's always nice to see your lifelong friend happy. Everybody got changed back into their usual uniforms, and soon everybody was off to lunch. Bakugou had left as quickly as he could to get to YN, some medicine to help her cramps. "So," Kushima began, with food in his mouth, swallowing before talking again. "What did Bakugou, bro?" "I saw him leave school grounds." The worst thought went through Kaminari's head. "Don't tell me you guys broke up." Despite Kaminari's flirting with YN every once in a while, he had to admit YN and Bakugou were quite the match together. "No, we didn't break up." YN was quick to say, "He's just running some errands for me." "What errands?" Zero asked, YN looking at Zero, who knew almost immediately what she was getting at. His eyebrow raised in understanding. "Oh, I get it. That's nice of him. Unusual for someone like him, but nice." Mina furrowed her eyebrows together, wondering how YN ran out of something so easily before her eyes widened, remembering that one thing that was almost a need when you're on your period. "I'm so sorry. If I knew you were low, I would have given you some, or I could have given you my own." YN snickered a bit. "It's okay, Mina. I'm not mad." Mina whined in response, nicely eating her food now. Kaminari and Kishima still looked confused. "I don't get it. Tell us." Zero's sweat dropped. "It's a wonder girls in this high school have asked you two out." "Hey! What is that supposed to mean?" Finally, the end of the school day had finally arrived. Some students stayed behind in school to study or hang out, while others ventured back to the dorms to hang out, and the others got permission to go off campus. All of them required to attract a little attention as possible for safety reasons. "Thank you again for letting me get these, Katsuki." YN said with a smile, the pain in her abdomen barely noticeable now. Bakugou rolled his eyes in response, his hands stuffed deep into his pockets, like always. Yeah. The couple was currently making their way back to the dorms. If the legal villains stayed in their own lane, they would get off campus to hang out, but in all honesty, Bakugou preferred to stay in the safety of the school grounds. He's strong, and he knew that. But when he had gotten kidnapped last time, horrible things went down, and now he gets nightmares nearly every night. Plus, he couldn't care less for people right now. "So, what do you want to do when we get back to the dorms?" YN asked. Bakugou thought for a while. "Video games." "I should have known you would say that." The two arrived at the dorms and made it up to Bakugou's room. No issues. Until they noticed a Bakugou's gaming system missing. he normally played on it. What the fuck? He yelled, throwing his book bags onto the ground. What did you do with it? I didn't do jack shit, somebody took it. Katsuki, the only person who would take your gaming system is Kiri. Wayne said, dropping a book bag onto the ground. Bakugou looked at Wayne with a glare. The two staring at each other for quite some seconds. Exactly, Bakugou said after a while. Cheering was now heard from downstairs, confirming the couple's suspicion. Wayne groaned. I don't want to go downstairs, Katsuki. You said that is I want to go. Katsuki glared at the door that was horribly a muffled noise. Wayne pouted as Bakugou began to march towards the door. No, let's just stay up here. No, I want my shit back. Katsuki barked, reaching for the door handle until he heard something hit the ground. The object sounded too heavy to be a jacket. In fact, it sounded more like a human falling to the ground. Due to the realization, Bakugou whipped around, seeing Wayne sitting on the ground, a sad look clear on her features. For once, worry managed to seep through Katsuki's skin. I was in front of Wayne quickly. Did you actually fall? He questioned quickly. Yeah, my stomach is cramping again. Wayne lied. Bakugou's brows furrowed. I literally bought you a whole new pack of medicine today. Wayne put on an even more pouty face. I know, I'm glad, but I put them on a table in the common room so your Raka could borrow a few. I'm sorry, Katsuki. The truth is, Wayne was being possessive. That exactly was what's happening. The mood swings weren't really kicking in today, and currently all she wanted was to have Katsuki next to her. She'd do anything to get what she wants. Of fucking course you did. Bakugou spat out. Well, what the hell do you want me to do? Cuddles? No. Katsuki. Wayne whined, extending his name out with an expression Bakugou always gave into. Bakugou glared at Wayne, the two now in silence for literally 10 minutes. Literally. Fine, was all Bakugou said. Again, after 10 whole minutes. Wayne extended her arms as Bakugou wrapped his own around her waist. As Wayne wrapped her arms around Katsuki's neck, she smiled at her. Her expression was now out of Katsuki's eyesight, knowing she had won. Katsuki picked up Wayne, setting her on his bed before he lay down himself. He took off his blazer, Wayne doing the same. Bakugou sighing as he crawled over top of Wayne since he wanted the side of the bed with the wall. Wayne couldn't help but smile once Katsuki had gotten comfortable and opened his arms with a planned expression. Happily, Wayne scooted closer to Katsuki to lay her head where she normally did, his chest. However, it seemed Bakugou had different plans. Bakugou used his muscles to lift Wayne slightly and rolled her on top of him. Whoa! Wayne said, looking up at Bakugou. I thought you didn't like cuddles. I never fucking said that. Bakugou rolled his eyes, avoiding eye contact with pink cheeks. Wayne smugly laying her head in the crook of Bakugou's chest. The room was mostly silent for a minute. The cheering from downstairs, the occasional sound of footsteps down the hall, and the sound of rain now beginning to patter down from the sky, landing on the glass door that led to the balcony. Katsuki, unable to fall asleep on will, proceeded to rub up and down Wayne's back, him knowing that Wayne was lying about her cramps. Slowly but surely, Katsuki's warm touch and gentle careness lured Wayne to sleep. Ever since Katsuki had gotten kidnapped, he'd been on edge almost 24/7, but at this moment, he never felt more relaxed. Something, a person trustingly another, so much to fall asleep on them was comforting. The last thing Bakugou wanted to do was fall asleep. He would screw up his sleep schedule, but he couldn't hold his eyes open as the lids began to slowly fall closed, and soon he was asleep as well, still holding his hands on YN. Ayama, who was venturing to Midoriya's room from the balcony, was feeling nosy today. So when he got onto Bakugou's balcony, he sparkled and struck a pose. "I simply cannot help myself," he said, even his voice sounding like it was naked with sparkles. Cupping his hands around his face, Ayama got even closer as he could to the glass door, not touching them so he wouldn't leave a print on them. His purple eyes venturing around the room, landing on the ash blonde's bed. Last, a shriek escaped his lips at the sight of YN and the hot leather cuddling in their sleep. Ayama, being a master at sneaking around at this point, started with the cheese he left at Midoriya's, quietly opening the glass sliding door and made his way inside. Once next to the bed in the middle of the room, Ayama hopped around a bit, joy filling his body. Composing himself for the time being, he proceeded to pull out his phone and snap a picture of the two, forgetting to turn off the flash. Nearly dropping his phone, Ayama ran back to the balcony as Bakugou snapped awake. The sparkling blonde shut the door and disappeared from sight right when Bakugou looked at the balcony. After staring outside the camp, examining everything for a bit, Bakugou rolled his eyes and changed up the position the wine were in. Now Wine was lying on her side, her back facing Bakugou. Now Bakugou let one arm venture underneath the pillow, Wine now resting upon it, and let his other arm fall loosely, but protectively over Wine's waist. Aoyama took a deep breath. Now one balcony over, he glanced inside the dome he was standing inside of, only to notice the open doors. Todoroki sat on the floor in his Japanese-styled room, staring at Aoyama with eyes that seemed like they had no thoughts behind them. When he really thought about Midoriya and All Might's relationship, almost all the time. Aoyama's sweat dropped, setting the plate of cheese he'd been carrying with him inside the rocket storm on the table. "Don't worry, I'll be back for this," was simply passing through, Aoyama said, smiling instantly at Aoyama for a minute, before suddenly bursting out. Guys, I have something to show all of you!" He suddenly screamed, showing Todoroki the picture first, before screaming once more and running out of the room. Todoroki looked up aimlessly at Aoyama's screaming, began to fade. Huh? So you're past the current game of Mario Kart. As the elevator rang and Aoyama screaming entering the common room area, everybody turned to look at him like an insane person would to someone screaming as he was. Aoyama hopped over to everybody, was sitting/standing, doing stuff on his phone to connect to the TV. "Look what I saw!" He sang as the TV went black. Everybody was silent and patient until the TV finally mirrored Aoyama's phone. Once the class saw the picture that was now on the TV, most, if not all of them, let out screams of their own. Some of the screams were from shock, never seen Bakugou so calm before, while other screams were filled with basically, "That's so cute, what the fuck? Send that to me!" Uraka screamed, her big eyes nearly filled with tears of joy. Mina nodded too. "Send it to me too." Kanara grinned, "Send it to me too," and he leveraged over Kachan. "I'm surprised he hasn't killed you for calling him Kachan yet." Midoriya sweat dropped. That was the fanfiction. I really liked it. I'm sorry if you guys could hear my mom or my cat. She's been meowing all day. So I'm really sorry if you guys hear that. And remember to support the author. I will leave the link in the description below, also my Discord server. I think that was all. Have a good night, day, afternoon, and thank you for listening. Bye bye!